Welcome back to Quake Pro League. We got 2 sets done and dusted as we head into the third, and it's 2 titans, Dan, Av3k and COOLLERZ.
Man, this is a classical matchup, and two players I just love to watch. Av3k, one of my favorites, and COOLLERZ is everybody's favorite, but also somebody now who has something to prove, a lot to prove. But he's been looking better last few weeks, I have to say.
Gaining momentum just in the nick of time because he needs to win this to get out of relegation. It's all on COOLLERZ here. It's going to be a tall order as Av3k has been getting stronger and stronger. Had a short little break, came back and showed us all that it didn't really matter. Sometimes break can make you even stronger. I think it's going to be an uphill battle, but we'll see. I mean, these two have clashed before, and it's always been so close. It's always a pleasure to watch these guys play, and I think it's going to be a fantastic set. But again, pressure is on COOLLERZ.
Yeah, pressure's on COOLLERZ. No one can unfortunately go below Tox, so he's quite safe in that regard.
Poor Tox.
But it's also pretty underwhelming for him to be where he is, somebody who characterizes himself as the champion, someone that wants to be competing for the belt, and so sitting down in what is the 8th, 9th place is just not where he wants to be.
Yeah, and one thing I love about COOLLERZ, I mean, play style and all that aside, is just mentality. When, he was in the interviews, he was very blunt about it. He was like, look, I'm not playing my best. I apologize to my fans, the people that support me. Like, I know I could do better. And he said he's going to grind harder as we get closer and closer to the Stage 1 finals. So it's refreshing to kind of have that brutal honesty from him. He takes a clean look at himself and says, look, I know I'm better than this. And we all do too. So hopefully he brings out some of that A game today. And then Av3k is just Av3k. I mean, with that hair, the play style, he can just be so good, so precise, and it's just so fun to see. The dude is an absolute monster. I personally remember, I mean, this is going to be, for the Zoomers, they won't remember this, about 2 years ago in Sweden, way back in the day, Dan, back when duels were still rounds. I remember Av3k and COOLLERZ going at it in the best of 5, and it was absolutely phenomenal to watch, but the game has changed leaps and bounds since then, but it's always a pleasure to watch these guys fight. And I think, if we can, we should take a look at the picks and bans to kind of see what maps, what champs are going to come out.
Yeah, and it's as much a mind game as anything else between these two players. So two players are so accustomed to one another, so it's got so much heritage within Quake, so there is a lot that goes on mentally between the two. But anyway, as you say, picks and bans, we have Athena versus Anarchy map 1. Really interesting picks coming out from both these players. Do like the Athena pick. We know COOLLERZ is actually a fan of the Anarchy and uses the injects really quite well. Corrupted keep a bit more brute force than we'll see on map 1 for sure, with the Strog up against the Sorlag. So I do like the Sorlag pick on that map. I think it's a little bit underrated, underutilized. So I'm keen to see how COOLLERZ utilizes that, but Strog obviously pretty meta there. And then finishing up on Ruins, we've got Ison for Av3k. He just loves that champion. And then Ranger, someone I think is again very, very strong on that matchup. I think overall COOLLERZ has a slight edge on the picks for me.
I could see that. I think on Ruin specifically, I would tend to go more towards Ison. I know Ranger has the versatility with the orb via damage or set plays and closing distance, gaining distance, but there is just no way to really, if you have a good defense, which Av3k does, if you put Timmy the Turret down in the heavy room, it's a nightmare. You have to be so careful of how you even try and go for the heavy. Sometimes you just have to concede it completely, and I think that's going to be a nightmare for COOLLERZ to try and get in on, but we'll see. If he can get in early on the heavy and maybe dictate the pace, it'll be a little bit different. But I see Av3k's Polish defense down there being just almost impenetrable. But it all starts with Blood Covenant. We got Athena, we got Anarchy. Any predictions, Dan, on what you see here between these two?
As much as I think COOLLERZ's got a slight edge, Av3k's been playing the better Quake overall, so I would favor Av3k for 2-1.
2-1 to Av3k. I think that is a possibility. I'm sure chat might want to see COOLLERZ 2-1 because, again, he is on the cusp. If he wins this, it helps his chances of getting out of relegation, depending on how the other matches go. But again, it's similar vein to Zanaku, where he has to do himself this favor and give himself as much buffer as he can. So this is a must-win for COOLLERZ right now to get out. And I'll put my cards in COOLLERZ's hands. I think he's going to step up to the task, and I think he's going to show us why he was once the title holder, and he'll always be the king. But we'll see.
I mean, you've been pretty good with your predictions today, so.
Which is weird coming from you. You never give me that. So I'm actually going to cry from happiness. Chat, show me some love, too. This is a big day for me as Dan actually compliments me. We did it. We did it, chat. We did it together as a team, as a unit, as a Quake fan. It only took
I
13
mean,
weeks.
I'm fair in my opinions. You know, if you're shit, I'll tell you.
Right.
But if you're doing all right, I'll tell
You're
you
like
that as
Cooler
well.
in that sense. You just
There
tell
you
it
go.
how it is, and I love that
There you
about
go.
you, and that's why you're the deputy. But I heard the sound. That means slowly but surely we're going to get into it. It's going to be Blood Covenant. It's going to be Athena. Anarchy. High flying action should be coming out from Av3k and Cooler again. Cooler on the ropes on this one, but it's going to take a lot. Av3k is no small, feat to defeat, so to speak, with the feat. So we'll see. I think 2-1 either way. I'm going to go Cooler just because I'm kind of voting with my heart today, and I just want to see Cooler rise to the form that we're used to seeing, kind of getting closer and closer to raising that belt again. Once a champion, always a champion. Italy was a big thing for him. Even the speech after when he won was, he was like, I've been fighting for this a long time. It's been a long time since I've been on top. So you want to see him get back there.
Yeah, and this week for the majority of it, we got some really great matchups. For the majority of them, that they don't mean anything in terms of the overall standings, but what it is, and very important for as a teller for how people are looking going into the finals in just 2 weeks' time. So it's their last truly competitive matchups before then. It is a really great tester for these people to test out the final tactics and refine themselves. So mentally, it's actually it's important between these two, and that's what I'm most interested to see is how is Cooler doing at this point in time. I think we got a good grasp on Av3k, and it's nice to see that. But how has Cooler progressed over the last few weeks, given now he's actually getting back to full force?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, next week is going to be a bye for everybody, a little bit of a cool down, last minute practicing, and then we will get into the Stage 1 finals in 2 weeks' time. Some players have a bye this week. Do you think those 2 weeks of downtime actually affect you as a competitor? Would you rather be able to play this last week? You could practice again on your own schedule, but kind of having an official game to go off of right before the bye, you think that's a hindrance, or is that good to have the bye? Like, what would you prefer as a competitor, Dan?
I think 1 week is fine. Any more than that, I would get a bit antsy. I think 1 week just to reflect is fine. It's nice to have a bit of reflection to actually sit down and analyze, because I think the cadence and the tempo is so high. You're constantly looking week to week. You actually got now a bit of time to reflect on everyone else beyond the pool, right? Because if you're spending a single week analyzing your upcoming opponent, now you get that extra period of buffer time just to look at the wider pool and kind of plot your path to victory.
Sure. And no time to overanalyze, too. If you have too much time, you start getting in your own head, second-guessing everything, and it all goes horribly wrong. But enough talk, Dan. Let's get into the arena. The third set of the day is going to be Av3k, Cooler, map number 1, Blood Covenant, and we are going to be live with Sparty's POV here. Av3k going straight for that rail with the Athena. Again, the hooks are going to be so big on this map. The versatility, the verticality lends itself to an edge on Athena. Looking for that opening rail. He sees the Mega, and Cooler might even be baiting it, but Av3k seems to be smarter than that. He's like, you know what? Maybe I should just go for the heavy. Maybe I should spot this out and see what's going on. Ooh, the nail to rail combo will land for Av3k. That's going to be big as he grabs the heavy. Items so extremely delayed here. Now the split is actually very, very close because of the delay.
And this is what I was talking about between these two. It's definitely as much a mental game, a strategy game, as it is just the old traditional duel. So expect plenty of shenanigans to come out between these two, as Av3k is just waiting around, has no idea how long it's been delayed for. Nice double rail coming out from Cooler to start us off with the first frag of the series.
That was big.
All down to the delay.
A little bit of LG as Av3k will get in on that heavy. Hits a rail as well. Cooler somehow getting away, but for the... Oh no, I thought the follow-up was going to be there. 12 HP. He's absolutely destroyed right now. He's going to grab a 50 shard. The rail will just go over his shoulder, and the retaliation from Cooler will land, and he will go through the telly, and somehow he's dodging bullets. This man is absolutely crazy, dodging rockets and rails over and over again as Cooler is fearless. Rails exchanged again, as Cooler still has superior positioning for this heavy, and it'll be rather clean as Av3k decides to go towards the Mega a little bit early. There's the jump pad, here's the chase. Shotgun and a little bit of a mouse error, it looks like, from Cooler, as everything is going horribly wrong. He's like, wait a minute, calibrating, wait a minute.
This is wireless mouse died, or like what? I don't know what's just happened.
I have no idea. But Av3k, the sportsmanship from Av3k, not taking that frag. He's figuring out if his friend is okay. And we're back in it. And we're back in it. You know, it's like, you know, you trip someone up on the pitch or something, you help them up. You're like, are you okay? Were you flopping? You good? Still 1-0 for Cooler here.
Not even a sorry from the Russian. No emotion.
You can't have emotions in the arena, Dan. It's not allowed, all right? That's how people fall in love. 1-0 for Cooler here. So he's trying to land some more rails and do the damage. Av3k will get the Mega, get his way out. There's the LG on LG as the war rages on. Finally, Av3k taking his leave, dropping down. Cooler will claim the top 50 shard. Also eyeing the lower 50 shard after the Mega. He's going to be able to drop down after he realizes that Mega is delayed way past where he thinks. Fantastic rail on the way out. There's the inject. Here's the chase with the shotgun. Just needs another one. There it is. Cooler up 2-0.
And I think Cooller's probably the best in the world at playing the items with this delay. It's completely bamboozled Av3k, and it's got him this 2-0 victory, which will soon be 3-0, because Av3k just has no idea when the Mega is.
And I can already see it in chat. There's no mercy in war. Why, Av3k? Why are you Dr. Respect? Because he just is. Okay, chat? As Cooler takes the lead 3-0, he's going to have inject up shortly. Av3k has plenty of time to get back into this. There's the rail from Cooler as the inject is in, and we saw it time and time again. Hits the rail, inject, and shotgun. And that is just the winning formula right now for Cooler. So he catches him out in the LG room. Good LG work from Av3k, but the shotgun blast again decimating Av3k. 5-0 for the Russian.
Yeah, shotgun is just so powerful against light champions, and as you said, it's an easy combo. Cooler's aim has actually been really on point so far as well. Av3k's struggling with the tempo that's Cooler's setting.
Ooh, that's a good rail after that LG. He wants to close the gap. Cooler's so weak, 24 HP. He's going to grab some bubbles and a 50 shard that's going to help him for the time being, and also get inject. That's going to be huge. Because Av3k just didn't chase, wasn't aggressive enough. And some might say you need to know when to be aggressive and not aggressive. As Heavy's up, that's going to be claimed by Av3k, and Cooler waiting patiently on this Mega, taking position on that catwalk. Just missing out on a rail. Av3k, however, will not, as he hits 2. Even after the Mega pickup, Cooler is absolutely crippled, needs to be careful. Shotgun blast from around the corner. There's some shenanigans with the rope, and wow, even with that rocket, Av3k survives and gets his first frag, but that was really good defense from Cooler.
Inject will be coming right back up now as Cooler now knows where Av3k is, can make a play onto this heavy. Inject coming out just at the perfect time as well, so that rail does effectively nothing. Cooler's using the inject pretty good so far, 107 max health already.
It's Cooler looking for any kind of rail damage. Been rather lucrative so far here. Both players shooting relatively decent 44-55 in favor of Av3k here. Lots of good defensive rockets here. 96 HP for Cooler as he's going to take his leave.
Av3k surviving on 2. He's in a world of pain right now as Cooler's got the heavy, can get the rocket jump up straight back over to the Mega. That rail will also spell certain doom as he hasn't even switched to the shotgun. That confident with the double rail.
This is the Cooler that we expect to see. Asserting dominance, 6-1 as we're rounding the 6-minute mark. There's the rocket jump over for the cutoff. LG and Av3k is like, oh my god, I didn't expect you there at all. Inject is also available for Cooler as he's trying to sniff out exactly where he would spawn, maybe even adding to the body count. 7-1, already rather large lead for Cooler here with no signs of stopping. Pedal to the metal.
He's only mapped once, so still got a couple more to go, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of players now watching this series and thinking, don't want to meet Cooler.
Yeah, Cooler looking good. That LG was a little shaky, but the swap to rockets will net him the frag. The Mega was right there as well, so he's going to be healthier than he was. And oh, there it is, nailed a rail again. The combination from Av3k landing 2-8. A lot of work in front of him. If anyone can do it, maybe it's Av3k. Chunky rocket, just missing the rail, unfortunate. Wow, and he hits the harder shot. He's just trying to show off now. Fantastic.
Yeah, looking incredibly comfortable, which is always good to see. Av3k, not been his best performance so far, but again, he's been strangled out of the map by Cooler, who's been all over him, both physically and mentally.
He's going to drop down. That's exactly what Cooler wanted as he's dodging these rockets. He'll actually land back up off the jump pad here, hits a rail, and now Cooler in a bad way. Game of cat and mouse, which way are you gonna go? There's the drop down around the corner. He has the rail out, he misses just barely as Cooler's still alive. There's the hit, and I think the blood pool pickup barely helped Cooler survive. Heavy goes to Av3k, he still needs more damage here. His time is ticking. Mega goes to Cooler, and just such a weird sequence there from these players.
Av3k is struggling to nail down Cooler. He's getting him low consecutively, but the speed of Anarchy at the moment is paying huge dividends to Cooler as Av3k is struggling to nail down his opponent. He's getting some great shots, but they're not coming or amounting to anything.
And Cooler just doesn't have a rail, so he can't really play that distance game. He can't really fight back when Av3k's taking these rails. Instead, he has to rely on the heavy machine gun, which isn't terrible, so he's getting pretty good damage. The rocket supplement will not land there. But again, swapping the heavy machine gun and just peppering as much as he can. Av3k trying to take a detour, trying to get in on this Mega, as Cooler's just going to leave it up for so long.
Yeah, and it's frustrating for Av3k because he's obviously the one on the back foot. He needs to make a play happen and he just can't. Cooler's resilient and aware.
Up as he has to close the gap. 5 frags down. Av3k doesn't really have the choice. He's got to start pushing aggressively, even when he doesn't have the advantage. And Cooler's just going to kite him around. He's going to duck into the stairwell, double back. He's going to kickflip his way towards potentially a victory here. So it's going to take a lot. 5 frags in 1 minute. We've seen crazy things on the Pro League, but I don't know. This may be out of the realm of possibilities, Dan.
This is gone, my friend.
So you're not a believer? You don't think there's just in time for Av3k?
No comment.
My legal counsel is advised against it, as he does get caught on the LG. Good defensive rocket.
Oh,
make that 2.
My gosh.
And the inject, and that should be a frag. And just like that, Cooler turns it around, and Av3k has to call it with 25 seconds left. He's like, look, this is done. Those rockets, they just slapped me down. Glimmer of hope, and Cooler says, no, you're wrong.
That
you're
was
mistaken.
a shutdown. I mean, that whole map was a stomp. I mean, the scoreline isn't as bad as we've seen, but the way that played out, as an individual playing in that series, Av3k would have felt quite helpless, I think. There was never a time where he looked like he was truly in the game or truly in control. Cooler had that in his grasp from start to finish. So really well played from the Rush.
Solid start, exactly what he needed. Just Cooler again fighting for his relegation life here. Wants to get out of the chopping block area, wants to feel a little bit more comfortable and safe. So Av3k with a rough start on that one. I mean, that's what you get for being a gentleman, right? Nice guys finish last, Dan. So.
And I would have just pummeled his ass for that.
Exactly. You're like, I'm getting 2-3 frags off of this easy. I fear nothing.
Sucks to be you, bro. Yeah. But no, I mean, in the end, like we said, these matches in the standings of things that they don't mean anything. So you want to fight a fair fight.
Yeah, I mean, shouts to Av3k for being a sportsman. That's the way it goes. He decided his fate, and I don't really think it decided the game. There was about 9 minutes after that he just kind of got outplayed by Cooler, as Cooler did a great job, as we see the highlights right now. But going into map number 2, Corrupted Keep, Strog versus Sorlag, it could be a little bit more of the same, as Cooler has the stack advantage off the spawn. That's deadly. The spit up close and personal, and the map is just smaller in general and no rail. So I mean, it tends to favor Cooler in the setup right now, but Av3k has done beautiful things before, so we might be able to see that.
Yeah. It would definitely be a different tempo of the game. We saw that was a very calculated game based around the rail and the range game from Cooler. He'll still be able to play effectively mid to long range in terms of the heavy machine gun on this map, but Av3k will be able to close the gap and force more close back engagement, which is exactly what he wants to do. We saw him attempting it with the grapples on Athena. He just couldn't nail down his opponent, partly because of the speed difference as well. So Cooler doesn't have that at his disposal, and it should be a bit more of a man fight in that regard.
Yeah, we'll see if Av3k can make it rain with the heavy machine gun, a little bit of rocket action here. And the inject, I mean, played a big part. We saw COOLLERZ just use it as insurance constantly. After he got that chip rail, it was, okay, I'm going to inject, get that extra health, close out with the shotgun. And, you know, it paid off huge for COOLLERZ here as he takes that first map victory. Again, on his way to maybe a clean sweep to really earn a buffer, but at the very least needs to grab a W on this one. Av3k trying to play spoiler and be like, nah, I'm sorry, bro, you're going to be on the chopping block. But we'll see, one map at a time. COOLLERZ takes number 1. We're going to get into number 2, Corrupted Keep, Strog, and Sorlag. Maybe a cool peeker play, I don't know. We've seen, again, brilliant things from different players with the peeker. It all comes down to positioning and kind of the situation, I guess. But it's always nice to see peeker come out and play.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this Sorlag. I do like watching her play. You can just play such a fast, aggressive tempo, and that for me is when COOLLERZ playing his best Quake, is when he's suffocating the map from you, taking the items away, splitting them, and just absolutely dominating. So if he can get that going, Av3k's obviously going to have a water pain, but Strog is exceptionally strong, something that's probably one of the best to counter up against the Sorlag. You got the speed at your disposal, as you said. You got the peak for the burst damage. You got a good stack in your name, and you have those health globules to stock you back up if you kill your opponent. Because obviously, one of the benefits of the Sorlag is you can rush in after dying, given that stack. But if the Strog's a little bit healthier, that will definitely help your case.
The battle rages out a little bit early there over the Rockets, as we see time and time again. Once claimed as Razy's Keep, we're going to see if this could be COOLLERZ Kingdom here as he's looking for 2 straight map victories. Av3k grabbing this lower 50 shard in the red room. He's got LG, he's got Rockets. He wants a little bit of that Mega as he's going to hold firm on here. And COOLLERZ just waiting by that Tri-Bolt for some sound cues to catch off Av3k if he dares make his way into the heavy. And there it is, right off the corner in the banana. That Rocket just devastating for Av3k's momentum.
Yeah, trading items, but Av3k's the one getting in the earlier positions on the high ground here. There's plenty of time for the Mega as well, so doing some good chip damage here to delay COOLLERZ, but kind of lost out of position now. So that was a really close rocket. COOLLERZ, though, pretty weak, needs to back off. But Av3k seems to have mistimed this Mega. He could have held his ground there. Actually now,
oh
die.
No, the spit too. And COOLLERZ is just toying with Av3k. He knows the item's up, and he's just like, do you want to drop? Do you want to try and take it? There's the heavy pickup finally as he's dodging these rockets, and he's getting the hell out of dodge. Look at that speed burst. Sorbet coming in hot here. He decides to take a detour. He could have pressed a little bit more, and Av3k wants to take the fight to Sorlag. Here are the rockets, and wow, he will net himself the frag. And I think that caught COOLLERZ off guard.
I think it did as well.
1 HP. Oh no, he almost touched it. It was right there, the Mega. Just a glimmering pile of delicious hope, and Av3k takes it away. Wow. Never mind. COOLLERZ took the Mega. Av3k comes back and takes away the heavy. 2-2. 2 minutes in, and this is some high-flying action, Dan. This is what we wanted.
Yeah, pretty chaotic. I felt that was definitely the right move from COOLLERZ. Just gotta respect the super shotgun. Melts you if you hit that damage. And Av3k, though, hasn't got a rocket, so he's going to struggle to do any significant damage here, but some smart movement, gets a nice bonk on the head with the shotgun. We'll miss out on the heavy, though, with COOLLERZ. Oh, what?
That thing is just chunky. Chunking away at the dinosaur here. Av3k grabs the 225, the spit comes out. COOLLERZ putting on the aggression, laying it on thick. He knows he can, as Av3k is hurt after that engagement. 3-2. Barely missing that jump. That LG could have been the death of Av3k. He's trying to deal as much damage as he can. Out comes the peeker to pepper it in. Dealt with nicely with the LG, and that's essentially a free Mega pickup for COOLLERZ. Stack's going to be huge right now for him after
This is the problem. Av3k's doing a good job of staying in the game, but that's what he's doing at the moment. He's staying in the game. COOLLERZ is the one taking the item, putting much more emphasis on taking these items. And whilst he's died to make that happen, look at the stack now. If he gets a clean frag here, Av3k's in so much trouble.
Trying to delay the inevitable as much as he can. Good LG on the way out. Follow-up rocket won't land. I think he landed in the spit, but the Mega's there to douse the burn almost instantly here, luckily for Av3k. Still no armor. LG on LG is going to rage, and there's the heavy again, so Av3k just a thief right now, stealing away everything, but so extremely weak in the boneyard. It could be quite apt if COOLLERZ catches him out, but somehow, again, survives.
Such a ballsy move, but he had to make that happen. Otherwise, as I said, he would have been in a world of trouble. Instead, he dives on the Mega, gets out cleanly, picks up the heavy. He's lost out now, but he's kept himself firmly in the game, and he's doing such efficient damage from range. Cooler desperately wants to close the gap. He just can't at this point in time.
That rocket jump. There's nothing more terrifying than seeing a Sorlad come at you fully stacked, rocket jumping, speeding her way towards you. Is the rocket from down below going to miss? Av3k trying to stay alive. LG to LG swaps to the rocket, but it won't land. Cooler finally takes that frag, ties it at 3. Oh, but the rocket right off the spawn, huge from Av3k. Cooler has to work so hard for these frags here. As Av3k grabs the Mega, and Cooler needs to be careful. He's going to have a 50 to work with, and being very, very careful with his movement right now. Grabs the heavy machine gun. He knows he's going to get a lot of damage off that, especially at a map like this where there's no rail. Slowing it down now, but giving up the whole map. Oh my goodness. The rocket popped at the spit land. It doesn't look like it. Heavy machine gun swap. Both players now trying to make it rain. Out comes the peeker. Cooler dealing with it nicely and still having the awareness to drop onto the Mega, and the rocket is so big.
That was disgusting. 40 as Cooler's now won himself this Mega. Alright, this heavy, should I say. Plenty of time for the Mega now. Cooler just going to chip away at his opponent. Av3k won't be able to stick around here as Cooler's now going to get a nice free frag, clean as you like. And be able to keep the pressure on before the Mega as well, and fall back if he needs it.
A little bit of defensive spit, making sure that that entryway is covered as he gets a clean Mega.
That was really nice by Av3k. Sorry to cut you off, because he faked going into the lower ground to the Mega to force Cooler to drop so he could back up and get the rocket launcher.
Yeah, really good play there. So now he has to wait 14 seconds if he wants more of that. The rockets so precise, and the heavy machine gun play from Av3k is enough as he melts that dinosaur. 34 HP, 225s to work with. The Mega up shortly. He has LG and HMG to work with. Is Cooler going to bully his way onto this? It looks like he's trying. Rockets raging from above, but from down below is where Cooler is going to excel and gain the advantage. 5-4, 1 frag lead, more heavy machine gun. And then the spit comes down again. So Cooler looking more and more like Cooler himself. Av3k still having 4 minutes to try and get back into this. It's only a 1 frag game. Trying to make it rain, but Cooler just looks like he has all the answers. Even when he gives up a frag, he gets it right back. Wow, that rocket from down below so strong from Av3k.
Nice. Yeah, somehow he's keeping in this. It feels like Cooler's got complete control, but Av3k he's pulling out ridiculous damage, and Cooler very much on the ropes. He's got the right side of the items, though. Will be able to pick up this heavy and restack, but he's got no weapons, so he needs to be slightly careful. Av3k just going to control that mid ground. The machine gun play from both these players has been sensational.
A lot of utilization too. You love to see it. You love to see it. About 200 bullets fired from each on the HMG, getting a lot of damage. Well, Av3k's actually coming out the better. Of course, Sorbet a little bit thicker, a lot easier to land those shots. Cooler doing a good job himself. There's the peeker again. Av3k tries to make something happen, and Cooler almost gets to the heavy cleanly, but that rocket will pop him up and add extra damage, and now he has to be really, really careful with this exit. Could have been deadly if Av3k dropped down here. Clean Mega pickup for Cooler as he rocket jumps out of there. Still tied at 5, 7:30 in. And the spit is back up for Cooler. That's going to be huge. Peeker not available for another 10 seconds. This is a tri-bolt from down below. A little bit of LG, making sure Cooler doesn't aggress from the balcony area here. Av3k speeding through the banana towards rockets. Catches him out, but the tri-bolt just short. Won't be able to get any damage on that.
Cooler putting so much emphasis on the items, but Av3k's the one doing all the damage at this point in time. Needs to do some serious damage onto this heavy though, because otherwise Cooler does hit that critical mass. That's why Av3k is committing ever so slightly. He wants to skirt away now. Big rocket on the defense though. Absolutely mitigates all that pickup. Cooler though going aggressive, knows he's got his opponent low. Slight overcommittal though on the heavy after all.
Just looks so comfortable. Cooler using those rocket jumps to gain all of that speed, close in on his opponent, chunk with the shotgun, doing everything right, dominating the item game as you said, but Av3k is out damaging him by 1100. Still down by 1 here as Heavy will go. Cooler just missing out on that rocket jumper speed. He could have just sped over to Mega. He still has time to make it as Av3k wants that 50 shard, and it's going to be the death of him here.
But this is the challenge, you know. This is why COOLLERZ is such a good pick for someone like Cooler, because when he does absolutely monopolize the items, you have to double his damage in order to win the game. And Av3k's nearly getting there. It's just not enough.
Wow, Av3k turns it around. So weak though. Needs to be
the heavy's
careful.
up again. Look at the stack.
Yeah, just it's heartbreaking to see, but you know that that's what you're getting into with the store lag here as the LG rages on in the red room, blood everywhere. Cooler takes that frag back yet again. 8 to 6, 30 seconds left. All the pressure is on Av3k, but Mega will go to Cooler. He has a shotgun, he has the spit, and it looks like he's going to be able to seal up this map number 2 as a gift to himself. There's the peeker from around the corner. The LG is so good and pushes him into the boneyard, and that's where Av3k's final resting place is going to be.
Yeah, that deserves a big sigh from Av3k, because I think you said it best, right? It is heartbreaking. It's demoralizing as a player. You put in so much work, so much good work, and then suddenly COOLLERZ spawns, picks up the heavy, picks up a shotgun, and then suddenly you're on the back foot once again. It's
brutal.
The whole map is a grind when you're going up against someone like Cooler on a COOLLERZ, and it was just too much for Av3k to deal with.
You already have to outdamage your opponent by a lot because of the stack difference naturally, and then you give Cooler all the items. Av3k had about 1,200 more damage in that game.
Yeah,
just huge uphill battle because Cooler was just controlling everything.
Yeah, but it was a strategy from Cooler to be Pac-Man. He wanted to eat anything and everything, no matter what the cost. That's why he did certainly overcommit for some items. But sure, he takes away the item, does a little bit of damage to Av3k, and it's like a 200 effective HP net gain, right? Because he denies the item, picks up the item, and then does damage himself. So it's such an uphill battle for Av3k, and he did everything right. He just couldn't get enough items.
Doing a great job here, and this is the Cooler of old, right? The king is back. Might even get a 3-0 here. Still one more map to go between these two, and it's going to be Ruins. We got Eisen, we got Rangers. We're taking a look at the highlights from Corrupted Keep. Just so much shotgun. Again, the horizontal rocket jumps, just gaining all of that speed, being able to close in on Av3k in an instant. Terrifying when that flying dinosaur is coming at you with the shotgun out. Don't recommend it. You don't want to be on the other end of that, but just fantastic play from Cooler. Again, like you said, he had his strategy, he had his game plan, and he executed it perfectly.
Yeah, and in doing so, what he does is he forces his opponent into this really uncomfortable situation where he can't play a normal game. He has to take risks. He has to try and bully the COOLLERZ. He has to go in and be super offensive, because if he just sits back, he's going to get overwhelmed. And whilst Av3k is comfortable doing that, it puts you in awkward situations. And as you see, huge amounts of damage from Av3k, but no items. So he was never going to be able to win that.
Yeah, absolutely brutal. Cooler taking everything, leaving nothing. 2-0 on the board for Cooler. I'm sure a lot of people in chat are very happy to see that, as he's fighting his way out of the relegation area here. And it never hurts to add another map. Again, every map is money. Money talks, and that's what every player is going for here as they're playing for position here. Last week of Quake Pro League in the regular season. Stage 1 finals right around the corner. But we still have a lot to deal with today as we're going to load up map number 3 between these two. Does Av3k have something in the tank for us? Can he pull out this map victory? I think with the Eisen, if we see that kind of set play we've seen from the other pros where you kind of set up position down by the heavy, that's kind of your point of attack, that's your fortress, that's your defense. I think Av3k might be able to do it, but Cooler as Ranger, he can get in and out. He doesn't even have to really play that game if he doesn't want to. He can dictate the pace because he has the first 2 maps, so we'll see.
Yeah, I think to your point, with Ice on this map, that strategy only really is effective if you're in control on the Ascension. If you're on the back foot and you're being bullied around the map, you're never going to get a chance to actually play around that strategy. So it does require you to be in control and be on a level playing field. Otherwise, as you say, Cooler doesn't even have to respond to that if he doesn't want to.
Yep, needs a good start here, does Av3k. And this is it, map number 3 between Av3k and COOLLERZ for the third set of the day. And we're going to start off on Av3k here as he has the rail into LG right off the bat. Timmy the turret already deployed. Looking for an opening rail here. The rockets from COOLLERZ raging on. There's the dire orb to close the gap. Lots of LG coming from Av3k as he's backpedaling, misses with the rail. Good swap to machine gun for COOLLERZ, trying to maximize damage output here. Great rail from COOLLERZ. Or excuse me, onto COOLLERZ there from Av3k as he knows COOLLERZ wanted that LG. Doing a good job of denying it as long as he can. Almost finding that shot, just not lingering long enough. Missed opportunity there from Av3k.
Okay.
Bleeding internally. that was a bit mad, wasn't it?
Let's just open up the map. Av3k though dropping in for a nice rail. Knows he can get in and out. But COOLLERZ with the rocket jump passive has already got full map control.
Ooh,
it's double rail.
And rail damage, yeah. Not bad at all here. Could get caught out. There's the jump pad, another great rail. Av3k hitting everything now. Can he hit the 30? Just misses. 25 HP for COOLLERZ. Av3k looking for anything. A little bit of a tickle from LG, just a spot of it.
Nice.
Nope, rail's gonna do it.
That's one way to take control.
Yeah, just hit your shots. You guys want to go pro out there in chat, just hit all of your rails here. And now that he has the advantage, he can kind of play that game slowly but surely. If he takes this mega, he can kind of set up the fortress down on the heavy if he wants to.
Yeah, a long split between the items, and this is definitely a map where you can isolate both of them very easy. They're in close proximity. COOLLERZ just got to run now. He's got no weapons, no items. So just stay alive, which he has done. Av3k though can control this rail. Seeing how powerful it is, but that's not a good play as he just jumps into death against COOLLERZ's perfect rockets.
Just read it perfectly. COOLLERZ, the perfectly placed rockets there. He's like, you're going to want to try and leave, so the rocket's going to hit you in the chest. Tied at 1, 230 in. COOLLERZ slowing it down now. Playing off sound cues. Has the rail out. Will barely miss there. Unfortunate. Just making his way down towards the heavy. No, just wants to re-up on the rail. Will barely miss. There's Timmy the turret around the corner. Gets dealt with immediately for Timmy. Dire orb will be available shortly for COOLLERZ. That could be huge. Cheeky little rocket jump around the corner. The dire orb is available if he wants. He keeps hitting rails. Almost hits a third as Av3k jumps down, gets the LG, and gets the heavy.
So far, Av3k's rail has been sensational, which is what he needs it to be if he's going to take this map from COOLLERZ.
Also just utilizing it a lot more, shooting 16 slugs as opposed to COOLLERZ 6.
I mean, COOLLERZ hasn't had it in the last 2 frags, to be fair, so
yeah.
Av3k doing a good job of keeping that weapon away. Oh no, COOLLERZ, he didn't want to jump there, my friend, as he does find Av3k in the hallway. And yeah, didn't have any weapons to retaliate.
A little bit too aggressive there as COOLLERZ gonna get caught out in the courtyard as well. That's gonna be another one for Av3k.
Okay.
Needs to be careful.
2 free frags.
Yeah, needs to be very, very careful not to let this one slip away too far. 4-1 still in the realm of possibilities as we're only 4 minutes in, so plenty of time, but you hate to see COOLLERZ just kind of throw away frags like that as he's going to try and set up position on this mega. 5 seconds left. Av3k is going to make his way up to the T-Con. Looks like he's going to be a little bit late. Maybe some exit damage here as the rockets keeping him out from COOLLERZ, and the dire orb's available for that extra burst up close and personal if he wants to. Oh, picks him out of the sky there. Down goes Timmy. That's a fantastic play. Almost hits another one, too. COOLLERZ deals with it. Nail gun will take out poor Timmy, but a mega will go to COOLLERZ again.
COOLLERZ desperately needs a rail. Hasn't had one for quite a while now, and it's coming back to haunt him. He jumps onto Av3k, using the orb aggressively. Av3k manages to get out without taking too much damage, but once again, he's the one with the rail. And at the moment, nothing's going to plan for COOLLERZ. He's given away a couple of free frags. Now he's very much on the back foot. That was a decent play, but without the weaponry to make it count, Av3k just kept his ground. And
job of controlling that rail this entire game. It almost feels like Blood Covenant, where we didn't see a lot of rail from COOLLERZ at all. There's, you know, streaks of 2-3 minutes where he just didn't have a rail. There's a rocket jump trying to get crazy. Av3k still hits the shot, but COOLLERZ still gets the heavy.
What a shot that was. This time, though, he has got a rail, so he can start working himself back into the game.
And the Dire Orb will miss, but it'll actually bully Av3k off just enough to get the Mega, and that is unfortunate for Av3k. Playing it rather safe, which is fine. 4 minutes left, 4 frag lead. I mean, don't need to overcommit, but could have done a little more damage before he dropped down. COOLLERZ looking decent here. And as you said, has a rail. He's not going to be able to convert that into damage quite yet, though.
No. And now he's in a bit of trouble as Av3k got a perfect clean pick up. The rocket jump up, good rail as well. Still better time, that's not the cleanest. This time COOLLERZ will be able to secure that Mega, but he does peak a little bit too much, and Av3k's healthy enough to stick around for return rails. Nothing's going to plan at the moment for COOLLERZ. You can see the thought process, but it's not being executed particularly well.
Good rail from down below. Is Av3k going to give him another gift? He does have a Dire Orb if he wants to get super aggressive here. Instead, both players will concede their position here. COOLLERZ with great damage there, that rail. Perfect shot around the pole there. Timmy can't save you. He's going to be able to rotate over to this Mega as well. 3 minutes, 4 frags. Can the King do it here? He's going to grab the outer 50 shard as well. Good rotation over to the heavy. Might go up the jump pad for some additional damage. There it is. He's going to grab it. There's the Dire Orb, and he somehow trades positions and gives up the heavy, and that's unfortunate here. Av3k steals that away. Down goes Timmy. This is a nightmare scenario for COOLLERZ, but he somehow converts 51 HP. Needs to be careful how he deals with Timmy, and down he goes. So he makes it work, but he's so weak now. I don't know how he hit that rail. That's incredible. Can he hit another one? Av3k trying to aggress with the LG. LG on LG is going to be enough. Av3k so weak. Is the rail going to be the deciding factor? Machine gun. COOLLERZ can't decide. He's looking for anything. Both players miss with their rail. As Av3k takes the jump pad to the rockets. He wants the Mega. Is he going to get it?
Oh, I don't think he knew how low COOLLERZ was in that rail. Just missing the shoes of COOLLERZ. He does manage to get the heavy, but the time running out, you can see the desperation of COOLLERZ. He's only actually got a rail to work with, so needs to make it count. Misses it one. Nice all through the opponent, but not hitting his rails, and he's in a lot of trouble now.
Only 3 lot of rockets left. 1 cell of LG and 19 slugs of rail. So it's going to be the rail show for COOLLERZ here if he's going to try and make this work with a minute 40 as he re-ups on the rockets finally. Av3k putting the position down by the heavy as the turret is dealt with again. Poor Timmy just getting worked at this game. 6-3. It looks like Av3k still firmly in control. A little bit of a rocket there from COOLLERZ to gain the information. But he needs to aggress. Time is ticking. Playing a platformer, dancing around the nails. He's going to be able to claim this Mega for free again, as it looks like Av3k is just going to go full plus back, maybe hit and run here. Down by the heavy, looking for it. The LG is going to keep him away. The Dire Orb is going to get in on the heavy for COOLLERZ. But again, time ticking. 1 minute left. Finally chases him down, but with that rocket jump, 53 HP. He's going to get hit with the rail. He doesn't even know where, and the LG in the back as Av3k is like, I was over here. Hi.
Good victory from Av3k. It was a really unusual game. I think COOLLERZ unfortunately gave away too much latitude to Av3k with those free frags in the mid game. That just gave such a cushion for Av3k to play a lot safer. And he was hitting some amazing shots in the beginning to actually mitigate COOLLERZ's advances. COOLLERZ controlled the items really well. He actually had more control than Av3k overall. But kind of a mixture of unluck and just blinding skill from Av3k's combat was enough to push him over the line.
Well done indeed. Avik will put himself on the board with a map, but Cooler did what he needed to, and he won the set, putting up 2 maps. For the time being, that gets him out of relegation. I don't know how it plays out with what players move down. I think Sparty or CNZ may be vying for that position, but Cooler did what he needed to. The King gets out of relegation for the time being, and that's going to be huge. Avik heating up a little bit too late, but his position in the standings is kind of okay. It's not the best, not the worst. I mean, it didn't look like he was going to make it to the first round buys, is what I'm saying. So he was pretty solid in his position. The play was a little sketchy to start with. Looked a lot better on Ruins there. But moving forward, I think Avik knows that, he knows what he's capable of, and I don't think this is going to haunt him too much, to be honest.
No, and if anything, he can take a lot of valuable lessons away from that, because the way Cooler was playing is actually pretty uncharacteristic for a lot of people in Quake Champions at the moment. In that much control on the items is a very, very old school way of playing that we don't see all too often. And so I think Av3k can definitely look at that and see what he did wrong, as much as respect what Cooler did right and played so very well. It was nice to see a whole range of playstyles coming out from both players as well. Cooler on the first map, very defensive, hugely basing the rail game. Second map, ultra aggressive, monopolized the items. And this map, I think he tried to do a little bit like he wanted to play on a keep, but just didn't work out.
Yeah, the over-aggression kind of threw away 2 of the frags, I think, in my opinion, a little bit with the over-aggression. The Dire Orb closing the gap when he didn't really have the weaponry to back it up, and just kind of gave Avik softballs, which he knocked out of the park. And then with that advantage, I mean, 2 frags leads to 3 to 4 to 5. So the buffer that he gave him, as you mentioned, was just enough to keep Avik in the pole position in the driving seat. And he took away 1. I mean, that's better than nothing. But Cooler again did what he needed to. He's got the victory, and he should be safe for the time being. But that's our 3rd set, done and dusted, in the books. Still have a lot more Quake action on the way. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with more frags for all of you.